Hi, my name is Dustin. This is the One More Thing podcast, DABA Contracting, sitting down with a good friend of mine, Jacob Moore. Jacob, how you doing?
Great. Good to see you, buddy.
Good to see you, buddy. It's early in the morning.
Ish, yeah.
Yeah? So first, let's get started with, tell us about you. How long have we known each other now? How old are you?
Oh, man. I don't know if I can say that out loud. I'm ancient.
Ancient.
I guess we're both 38 now. We've known each other for the better part of that.
38. You have recently got engaged.
Yep. Oh, way to put that out there. No chance, ladies.
No chance.
No, yeah, she's awesome. She's a beautiful, beautiful woman, and there wasn't much of a choice to it when I met her.
Yeah. Wow. That's good. I'm going to be your best man.
Yeah, you're going to stand next to me.
Yeah, I'm going to stand up there next to you. You're going to be all nervous. But yeah.
Yeah. Well,
38. We're getting this done. Finally.
It's funny. She said she was telling me that I'm going to be like the bridezilla of the group. She's like, I don't know, we'll just go somewhere and do it. And I was like, no. This has to be over here. We're going to have this song playing. Dusty's right here. Who's your bridesmaid?
How many groomsmen do you have?
I don't know. Like a baker's dozen.
All right, that's not bad.
No, I don't know. The list keeps growing, so if I think about it, it just gets longer. But we haven't set a date yet. We're just playing it by ear.
That's exciting stuff, though.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it. So we've known each other pretty much our whole lives.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be the best man at the wedding. I'm really pumped for that. I remember us talking when we were sophomores, juniors in high school about like, yeah, man, one day like we're gonna finish school and we're gonna like let's start a business together. Let's just start doing something to where we can hang out all the time.
Yeah, it was supposed to be
make money doing
it
it.
was supposed to be like famous actors or something, but then like what were they? They didn't get the memo.
Yeah, that was tough. Tough startup.
Yeah, dang it.
So, but a few years ago, I decided I was going to start my own business for reasons like I want to hang out with my kids more, kind of create and manage and maintain my own schedule rather than someone else's. About the same time, although we weren't really like as close, me having kids and COVID and all of that happening, at around the same time, you were looking to do a career switch. And so, boom, somewhat what we had talked about as kids.
It's kind of coming together now.
We're coming together and we're building a company up from the inside out.
The universe is pushing us in the direction we were always meant to go.
Yeah, acting like we know what we're doing.
Yeah.
No, we really do not.
Just kind of falling into it, but yeah, it's working.
Yeah. So since then, we start construction projects. We've done some demo stuff. We've done some install. We are currently working on a new DABA studio office, which is pretty exciting because you get to do every stage of construction. It's essentially a house. You have a foundation, you have your walls, you have interior finishes, electrical, insulation, paint, tape float texture, roof, the whole deal. So now that you kind of see all of this and you've been in the mix for a little bit, what do you like the most about construction?
Well, there's a lot of aspects I like about it. Like you said, I was going through a career change, trying to get out of the sales stuff, the same kind of atmosphere that I was in. I don't know. I just wanted to change. The hours I wasn't liking with this, we're out different projects every time, out in the daylight. It's just a little bit more enjoyable. Sometimes it's, we show up to a project and we're like getting a workout in, swinging a sledgehammer at something, smashing something. I don't know. It you never know. But I think the change in scenery is probably the most enjoyable thing so far.
I'll be honest with you. One of the things I like most about construction is the constant, like, there's always a new problem to solve.
Yeah.
So regardless of how well you write everything out on paper and make plans and as detailed as you can be through either like we've got an engineer involved, an architect involved, like there are still going to be issues in construction or problems in construction that require field adjustment and solving. That's one thing that I really love about it is you have to not only know what you're going to do in those situations, but be confident in like your abilities to you never know what you're going to run into when you open up a wall.
Yeah, it's like an improv almost. You
Yeah.
know, you're just
So
going with
so
what it throws at you.
we give a customer a price, and we don't know what's behind their wall. We don't know what the previous contractor built or didn't do correctly. Um, so to be able to approach a project and give a price and say like, hey, regardless of what's back there, I'll be able to fix it. That's something that I really like
Yeah,
about
kind
like
of
what we do.
scary at the same time, but you know, it gives you challenges that you have to overcome,
Right.
which is kind of fun. But you know, so yeah, sometimes you break ground and you're like yesterday we're like, oh, now we got to go get something to break up all this rock down here. It's not just regular dirt.
Not just dirt. Or wow, didn't know this AT&T cable is going to run right in the middle. So yes, the kind of constant problem solving and scene changing that happens in the world. I agree. Um, so now, kind of taking that of being a little bit more granular in a specific task, which do you think you like the most? Like, do you like to pick up a sledgehammer and bust up concrete? Or do you like to actually
Sometimes
take a nail gun and construct something from nothing? Like, hey, there's a stack of lumber, and now look, it's walls.
Hmm. You know, I like aspects of all of it, but you know, the sledgehammer thing occasionally when we need to do it, you know, we'll do what needs to be done. I just look at it as like, all right, got to get a workout in now, I guess, instead of later. But I think the most enjoyable thing would probably be creating something and building something, seeing something, you know, going out to a project and making something that wasn't there that it's like, hey, I did that.
One of the things I like, and I'm not the best at like electrical. I have great subcontractors that help me with electrical. But when I get the opportunity to do electrical, it's always satisfying to me because there's this high risk with electricity.
Oh yeah,
Although
like
you turn it off, well, yeah,
I like when like the other day we had to turn all the breakers off, right? And I was like, yeah, I think
testing
testing
breakers.
it was off, and you're like, okay, now grab it with your hand. I was like, no, no, still not gonna do that one.
Still can't touch it, even though we know we tested it and the power's off. Yeah. So I think because there's this high risk with it, whenever I get it right and I flip a switch and the lights come on or the outlets all work the way they're supposed to, there's a lot of satisfaction there for me.
Well, yeah, because if it's the other way, then it's like, oh, I got to go through all those potentially shocking wires and fix it.
Well, and like after wires, so wires are in the wall, right? And then there's a box that's on the studs or on the framing. And so the wires come into that box. And so you really only see the face of an outlet. The wires are all in the wall.
Yeah.
But you can still get to those wires. You pull the outlet out of the way and the wires are right there. But there's something about like, all right, it's a lot of electricity is dangerous. And then also like, well, you put drywall over the top of it, taped, textured, painted, like you closed in your access to this. Although it's still in the box. Yeah, you seemingly. So it has this kind of weird like challenge to me to where it's like, make sure you get it right. Because
Yeah, it's like a little
covering
it's
it
like
all up.
a little puzzle for you. Just with the risk of electricity in there. I like that.
We've been back in the mix. You've come into the fold of everything about, let's say, 3 months, 4 months. Is it longer than that?
I'm not really sure. Time seems to be flying. I don't know. Yeah,
Let's just say we're 6 months in, and you're getting a glimpse of what we're doing. We have some custom homes. We have some spec homes that we're building, some small projects, some big projects. I kind of do a little bit of everything. Custom shelving, one of the projects, a new studio office. What would you want to see happen for like, where do you see Jacob with DABA a year from now, 5 years? Like, what would you like to see? What's your dream? Because we can be old friends and really talk about like what our dreams are.
I think that, you know, a typical situation where you're sitting down with someone and having that, you got to give like whatever corporate response they need. But hey, bud, I'll just tell you, I think me and you should just be running the world. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'd like to see as many projects as we can handle, and then more than that, you know, like to the point where maybe we need to like look for other people to start handling some of the projects, handing them off, and obviously, yeah, just like more growth would be great.
Yeah. to me, it would be um, obviously great for DABA itself, but the more customers that we can go and help, right?
Yeah.
I feel like there's a lot of people who either have a hard time finding a contractor, or they even find one and they don't like and they don't trust the whole time. And it's like, man, there's so many people out there that either get taken advantage of or they're not comfortable with the project that they get. And it's like, that's what more people happen. Like with more people, we're able to help more customers, and then that chain reaction can keep happening. I'd love to see like, oh, we have DABA custom homes and then we have DABA remodeling. There's 2 divisions, and Jacob runs one, I run the other.
Yeah, that'd be
And
great.
we just, boom, take care of the whole greater Austin area.
Only downfall is, I really enjoy spending the time when we go out to these
Yeah.
projects. It's been really fun going to the projects and hanging out with you. And when we get so busy to where if we're both running different aspects of the company, it's like, hey, I'll have to just call you and like get a 5-minute, like, what'd you do last night? Give me that story. Give me a rundown. All right, gotta go make money and do stuff.
Yeah. That would be the double-edged sword of like, the more successful we get, the more business we get, the less we actually are hanging.
Yeah, and that was the big draw initially. It was like, yeah, I'm getting to hang out with my buddy, and we're like helping build his business with him, and that as we do that, it's like, oh, see you later, man.
No, so I mean, back to kind of what we were just saying. Step one to enabling that kind of growth is, one, we have to get more work, right? So we have to bid and estimate or do estimating with more accuracy to be able to get more work. And then a caveat to that would be something that I wanted to ensure that, like, I'm going to set you up for success in that role of, hey, I'm not going to be around to answer every question because I'm dealing with my own customers and you have these customers over here. So what kind of handoff do you have? And so handoff, I think, is going to be a big hurdle for the company as we grow. And what a handoff is basically like, oh, this job was awarded. You've never seen anything. Can I give you documents? Can I give you specifications? Can I give you anything on writing that basically is a book of that project? So without like I wonder what Dustin was thinking about doing here. You have a book to where that information is in there. It sounds simple, but it's incredibly hard to take somebody else's ideas, put them on paper to where they're easily read by you.
Right. Yeah.
So I think that's going to be a hurdle that we face.
Yeah, because I think a lot of when we're working well together, it's just kind of knowing each other, and if we're together on the same site, it's kind of, I don't know, it's just really natural. Like when we start a project or we're doing something, I kind of picking up what you're thinking and vice versa.
Yeah.
As if on the other side, if you're not there,
well, and
I'm just reading a book, I'm like, whoa, this doesn't have like his thought process here.
And like, you don't realize how vital or how important being able to walk over and point at something as you're talking matters. But if I were to say like, oh, the back left corner, make sure you put an electrical outlet. And it's like, well, my perspective, the back left corner could be different than yours.
Right, yeah.
So it just all depends on what you said. So now I'll do it. Let's write it out even in more depth. On the northeast corner of the building, that's blah, blah, blah. But just making that mistake kind of is a small sample of, hey, this is how detailed a spec book is going to need to be, or a project handover.
Yeah, if you want it to turn out exactly how you're envisioning it, you
to make it streamlined. Because that would be the goal, is to be able to not only hand you that book, but pretty soon you have someone that works for you and you hand them a book.
Right, yeah.
And it's like an easily transferable deal. One more thing. That's the name of the game.
I hear about this. One more thing.
So you're sitting here, 38 years old.
Dang, man. 38 years old. You emphasize the old and
old.
38 years young.
Okay, no. 38 years of age. And let's go back 20 years. You can change. You can tell yourself something at 18 years old.
Oh, man.
Give yourself a little nugget of information. What would it be?
Wow. I don't know, bet it all on Tom Brady to win the Super Bowl. I don't know. That's the first thing that comes to my mind, really.
Bitcoin,
Yeah.
Amazon.
Yeah, any of these, like, take a bite out of an apple, make that a logo.
Yeah.
I guess at 18, that was already.
Yeah, Apple's pretty
I'm
much.
not that old. I am that old.
But Tesla
Yeah,
happened since
yeah.
then.
Yeah, I feel
Amazon
like
pretty much
the
became-
obvious thing is, yeah, take some of these ideas, but if you want a more introspective answer, I would say, ooh, let me dig deep here for a second. I would say, you know, you're gonna be 38 at some point. Like, stop worrying. It's coming either way. So, try to achieve the goals you want to achieve, but don't get so hung up in things like enjoy the process more. Don't stress so much about like where you want to be and where you see yourself being. Be in the moment and enjoy that process more. Because I think a lot of the time, I don't know. There was just times where I felt like I was stressing myself out, thinking I needed to be doing something and be somewhere, or whatever. And when I could have just been smelling the roses, if you will, more. Not to a point where I'm stagnant and not doing anything, but just enjoy life more.
Not everything's about the rat race. Like,
right,
it's a long race.
Yeah. You're gonna. I mean, you're gonna be at that age at some point, regardless. So I don't know. Sure, try to do the things that'll put you in a good position, but don't stress so hard where you're making yourself miserable as you do it.
Yeah, it's kind of like for me, I thought about this question before asking you, and you'll never be ready kept coming up to my, like, you'll never be ready. So it's like, well, when do you buy a house? You'll never, like, I was like, oh, I need to be making this much a year. I need to have this much in the bank. Before I have kids, I need to make sure I have these things.
Right, yeah.
This
You want everything
checklist.
checked off, right?
It's like I want all this.
It doesn't work like that sometimes.
So I kept coming back to, like, you'll never be ready. At 18, I don't think I would have understood that. I think at 38 now, I'm like, you're not going, like, everything can't be perfect.
Yeah. Sometimes you just got to deal with whatever's happening.
Leap before you look a little bit, and trust that, like, in your capabilities and in your resolve, that you're going to find a way to make it the best outcome as you can. And like you said, 38 comes regardless. Yeah. Age is coming for us all. So don't get too tangled up in a failure or even a success.
Right, yeah.
Keep moving forward.
Well said. I think to tie it in with, the taking the leap before you have everything checked off, it's a lot of what we're doing, in these projects. Sometimes we're wanting to go and pick up everything, we're putting a list together, getting all the things from the suppliers and then going out to a project, and then, oh, no, we need more of this. So it's not, everything's, as much as we want to check it off, there's still things we have to overcome.
Yeah, for sure. Well, thanks for doing this.
You got it, man.
You might become a regular.
Hey, I'm good with that.
Especially if we keep growing and I never get to see you, we'll just schedule it. We'll be like, hey, come on to the podcast. Let's talk about stuff. You tell me what you've been doing. I'll tell you what I've been doing. My side's doing better, but, blah, blah, blah.
Hey, I'm always down. Sip some coffee and do one more thing.
One more thing.